How did I meet my stalker ex-boyfriend that is still stalking me 20 years later? I was in a bar on the East Coast. There was just a big group of us, and he actually turned up with his girlfriend at the time and a bunch of friends that I sort of knew. He seemed really normal. When I graduated from university, so we've been together a few months now. But during this time, there were a lot of early signs, aka red flags, that this wasn't going to be a great relationship. Number one, very early on, he started to be quite aggressive. Now, initially, he wasn't aggressive to me, but he was aggressive to other people around us. So one time, we took a trip to Atlantic City, and we were with a bunch of his friends, and I remember him drinking quite a bit, and he started to get really rowdy as the night went on, get aggressive with like people next to us. He said something odd like, "Are you looking at my girlfriend?" I was like, this is weird because I don't think they were. And at that point, he was still being very lovely with my family. That did get progressively worse over time, spoiler alert. That was another behavior initially. And then the third behavior, which I didn't initially know, started around the 6-month period and progressed and got worse up until our breakup. Kind of degrading behavior towards me and my family. During this time, I actually ended up getting a job as a flight attendant, and I moved to the Middle East, and we did a long distance relationship. I remember one time it was Christmas Eve, and a bunch of me and my friends weren't flying anywhere for Christmas, so we all decided we'd get like dolled up and go out for like a nice meal. And I was Skyping him just before we left, and he was just putting me down about how I looked, and then he eventually transpired to saying that I looked like a lady of the night, and I just put the Skype down. I was like, I'm done with this. He completely lost his quite degrading about me to my family. He called my father when I was in the Middle East, and he called my father, told my father that not only was I not a flight attendant, I was working in the Middle East as a lady of the night, and I was pregnant. This is it. We're done now. We're done here. Ended up moving to the US. My plan was to move in with my grandparents. So we moved to the 1 square mile town where he happened to live. And I kid you not, within 24 hours of me being there, he finds me at the bank. And he's like, "Hey, oh my God, you're here. Let's have a hug." And I remember coming home one time, and my grandmother was talking about this person, how nice this boy was. And I looked at her. I was like, "Who are you talking about, Grandma?" She said, "Oh, this really nice boy came to see us today." "Uh-huh. What was his name?" And she told me his name, and it was the ex. From then, 15 years ago, to present day, I still get frequent emails. I got 2 last night. I've also informed authorities both in the UK and here in the US. I never actually got a response from authorities. People just generally see him as a bit of a nuisance. If something very serious were ever to happen, I might need these emails.